if I'm willing to suffer and I can out-suffer everybody else, if I can put in the work, if I can just show up day in and day out, no matter how hard it is, and get back up for one more rep, I can have whatever I want in life.
Welcome to another episode of the Gynergy Effect podcast. Today, we have a very special guest, my great friend, Chris Sands, that's in the building, gonna share some incredible information with you guys. Chris Sands is an entrepreneur, operating at the intersection of real estate, wellness, and biohacking, with a singular focus, building durable advantage and winning over the long term. He came up in a high-pressure real estate environment where results were measured daily. Incentives were unforgiving and performance had consequences. Rather than glorifying burnout or accepting decline as inevitable, Chris made a continuous self-improvement a discipline, non-negotiable practice. He applies an operator's mindset to health and performance, treating biology, habits, and environment as systems that can be engineered for resilience, clarity, and sustained output. Chris believes winning is quiet, cumulative, and intentional. It's built through leverage, execution, and system that hold under pressure. Welcome.
Great to be here.
My good friend Chris, man. Let's go.
Happy we got to do this. Thanks for having me.
I'm happy that you're on here. I'm ready to dive in, man. You're always just this wealth of knowledge that I know that I can tap into you. It's like an encyclopedia on health and wellness and all those different aspects, and get, sometimes you get so granular. I'm like, where the hell did you just go, bro? So a lot of people I know that listen to this podcast, health and fitness, wellness is really important to them. So I'm excited. I'm going to start off with a question. And the theme of the podcast today is engineer your edge.
Oh, I love that.
Man, that's what would with Mr. Superman.
All about.
So, Chris, you treat your body like a business.
I do.
What's the biggest lie the wellness industry tells people?
The biggest lie the wellness industry tells people. Well, there's lots of lies the wellness industry tells people, but I think the biggest one so far is you are not a statistic. So for that, you are an individual, and when you're dealing with the body, you should be treating yourself just like an individual. You're not measured in terms of a population of charts. Just because you're within a specific range. I'm going to speak briefly on like hormones. Well, this does not mean you're healthy, right? Just because you're in a healthy range of what the other 6 billion people are does not mean you're healthy. So I think when I try and work, I do with myself, do with other people, is really dialing down on what works best for your individual biology. And that's the secret to optimization.
That's the secret to optimization, is that we're not all the exact same.
No, we're all different.
So when you get your blood work done or your hormones done, they're like, hey, this is a range. You should be, one, that's probably not optimized. That's just standard. And two, depending on who you are, it could be very different. So dive into that a little bit. How do you actually find that out?
Yeah, I mean, there's various ways. I think, right, just going with hormones, it seems like testosterone, which is a really one of the most popular one, especially for guys,
right.
Sexy.
That's what we hear about testosterone.
Right? In range of 200 nanograms a liter to 800 nanograms a liter, right? Complete opposite ends. You can find guys that are on like the lower end of that, guys the upper end of that, and both can be struggling the same way. You can be both guys that are on like the upper end, say the 700s, or guys that are in like the lower end, like say 250, that have the same struggle where they're feeling tired, lethargic, not feeling that drive to push through. Their sex drive is low, and they're looking for answers. And because they still exist on this range, right? The doctor, they're assuming, everything's fine. I should be looking in the spot anymore. When the reality is they should be testing, should be experimenting on themselves to find like the right dose, the right levels in order to find that sweet spot. And I think the interesting part about it is with a lot of this stuff, it's really based on how you feel, right? If you know it. I know you're in the gym, you know that feeling where you're on it, right? That when effort feels good. Right? And that's what testosterone does. That's a real superpower of testosterone. It makes effort feel good. Right? So girls, when you see that guy in the gym and he's yelling and slamming his fists, loud as he can go, pushing, right? That's soothing. That is good. That's good. That's why I work. That's what right? Feels amazing.
Yeah, it does.
Doesn't look like it should, but man,
we love it. Yeah.
And that's a key to optimization right there. On another side, just like with getting into like briefly touched on diet, right? Right. And you and I, like, nobody should be giving anybody else dietary advice. That's one of the things I stand by, right? So all your guys in the gym, I go to Worlds and PB, you see a lot of big bodybuilders there. They give each other off with advice like, no, you should be eating this kind of protein, this kind of rice, this kind of vegetable, whatever else. But you have no idea what's inside their microbiome. You have no idea what that looks like. And we have tests for that now. So it's a really easy thing to say. So like for you and me, like, just like, let's use like broccoli. That's a real sexual one to like use. Broccoli can be kryptonite for me, and it can be a superfood for you.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You would never know because it's generally regarded as healthy, right? But it all goes into how your system processes and takes them.
Now, I'll tell you what, one food that because I did a gut test, and I had a leaky gut. And, man, I love blueberries.
Blueberries.
And I had leaky gut with blueberries. You think you're eating something super healthy, but actually it was like almost became a toxin inside of me. So I had to stop eating those for like 6 months. And so I had to cut out these specific foods for a while. And then I was able to reintroduce them back. But it's crazy, the different nuances that if we just think we're all this one sheet of 1 + 1 = 2, 2 + 2 = 4, and it's not that at all.
You're right. It's not like that. But now we have the testing, the data to provide that. And those simple change nuances can make such a huge difference for optimization. And somebody who wants to be a high performer, just wants to be their best self, But
Where have you seen a specific example that kind of show up where people thought it had this preconceived notion, and then they got like new alignment, and then it just opened everything up?
So I think the story that comes to mind, there are a number of stories, right? There's a woman I met with, I helped like several years ago, right? And no matter what she did, she couldn't lose weight, right? So we went through, did food allergy test. We did we did 4 pounds. We went all on. This is right before microbiome testing really became a thing, came out. And, no results. She's in the gym 5 days a week. She's not overeating. She stopped drinking. She also done this.
She was locked in. She was doing what was needed to do, but she wasn't losing weight.
It just wasn't happening. So we removed one food. Finally, it was eggs.
Just one.
Eggs, right? That's the last thing there is. That's one of the symbols of diet. And lo and behold, that first week, she got 10 pounds.
Wow.
Crazy. Because that was inflating her system. It was causing all these other reactions that causing her to gain weight.
So what is this magic test? What's it called?
So there's a number of companies that put together. If you want a food like a basic food allergy reactive panel, it's called the IgE test. Not just test for those biomarkers. And then there's a company I like called Biome, Biome,
Biome.
Yeah, which they send you a sample test kit.
Yeah.
You go in there, you scoop your poop.
Yeah, in the lab. Yeah, that's what I had to do. I had to scoop my poop. That was fun.
Yeah, that's the best part of the test, obviously. Yeah.
Go with test care.
But you send it back and they give you all this great data, And, it's not a complete thing. You want to combine the food reactivity with the microbiome testing because there's going to be some overlap. And, but we really want to go get nerdy on it. We're doing the blood type diets, that's everything else. But what I like about the apps, they have apps that makes it really simple for you to look at. You can say, oh, okay, right away. These are the foods that I react really well to. These are the foods I don't react well to at all. And it's always a shocker for everybody, right? There's always something on there. It's typically, like you said, it's something like blueberries. It's what they eat all the time. And they realize, oh, this is holding me back. So when they make those changes, right, it's pretty incredible to see.
So taking the time, getting the test done so that the answers to the test.
Sure.
Because they'll give you the answers. We just got to take the test.
Exactly. 100%. Give you a spout. And I think the other thing to note on that is you want to retest, every 3 months.
I haven't retested in
a few years. Microbiome was like a garden, to your point, right? So you're kind of cultivating it. So sometimes you don't want one species to overgrow too much. Yeah. You want everything to be nice and balanced. That's what
because I eat a lot of Greek yogurt, a lot of blueberries. I eat a lot of chicken, a lot of 97.3 beef, rice. I eat some of these tortillas that I have with it, and mushrooms and like some different vegetables. But I eat pretty much the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have a lot of variance. So jumping in with somebody that eats something like consistently like that, it may be more important at that time, or what would you say?
I think what you're doing for it is again, everything comes in steps and not jumping or going all in right away. It's not going to be sustainable for a lot of people. So getting yourself into a pattern of just like eating healthy food, even if it's the same food for a while, is good. But I mean, humans evolved as like hunter gatherers, right?
Yeah.
Right? Nomads across the plains. So you're not getting even the same type of protein on a regular basis, right? So on that same note, I think the most optimal way, this is my opinion, to go through it, assuming you have, sunlight, cold, and all the other variables in place, is you rotate your protein sources. You find which sources are the best, rotate your vegetable sources. Like those are, you switch about like once a week. So for example, you guys, they go from like, let's say you're a meat eater. You go grass-fed, grass-finished beef is my big, or steak. So you take like ribeyes, like good.
Yeah, real natural. Like they all had good energy too. Yeah, it was like out in the field and enjoying life.
Yeah, and you're right. That's important too. And even again, I want to throw up top, but even with a cow, like kind of dies. Yeah, that's a big difference.
That makes a difference, right? Because if he's stressed when he's dying, then that puts that into the food source.
Correct.
That's real.
The stress hormones, that's a big deal. And even if they're eating like the grass-fed, grass-finished part is so important. They're eating like grains or more toxic diets. They're storing all those toxins in fat.
And then we're eating that, and you're eating them, getting cancer and all these diseases, right? And what are where it's coming from?
Yeah. So, and again, that's the first step. But if you find people are taking like bison or like venison, like venison, if you hear a lot of people say they feel like they get superpowers from eating that. Now, whether or not that is the case, is just rotating those protein sources over time to make protein sources, right? So now you're not building a reactivity to things. Like you can eat something every day. You can start building a allergic reaction to those things, right? Over time.
What's a good indication if I'm getting an allergic reaction to something? Because right now I feel good, right? I don't have any issues or anything like that. And what is the indication if like something you're eating is triggering something that like how would we know without getting the text?
So I give you one mark that's really easy, and that's like if you eat or drink something and you start producing phlegm or cough right away, that's a sign you're having like some type of reaction to this.
That's true.
But the key, like I think one of the key things I'll get into and why testing is so important is before this, people used to keep like food journals, like even for months at a time. They do elimination diets, go through it, take a little time to figure it out. Because food allergies can manifest themselves up to 15 days after you eat something.
15 days.
Like, so you don't even realize it's happening, or it's a slow build, right, over time.
So maybe you just had a little bit and a little bit and a little bit and a little bit, and then that came that cumulative output.
So there are a lot of people that you'll see, they're trend followers, and they switch from diet to diet, and they say, "Oh, I feel so much like I was carnivore. Well, now I'm vegan. I feel so much better." Follow them the next, and I'm not making any claims against anybody's diet. It's all individually based. So I'm not taking a side when I say that. But now you just switch kind of toxins you were getting. So your toxin level was really high on this one side and really low on the other side. Well, now this is coming down, so you feel better. Well, this is going to come up, and let's see how you feel in the next 3 to 6 months.
So when I hear you saying it's even more of a well-balanced, variance of food, and maybe your macros are the same, like your protein levels, your carbs, your fats, but the variety of food has some shift to it that evolves over. And how many, this is interesting to me, how many different types of foods would you say evolve through? Because right now, I'll eat fish sometimes. I love fish, don't eat it a lot, or we'll cook it sometimes. Shrimp sometimes, not a lot. And then chicken and beef really are like the main staples, which is so easy, right?
Of course, easy.
And then sometimes steak. Right. So is that enough variance? But, like Yessie, she has chicken. Like I call her little chicken. She's a little chicken. She's constantly chicken. Like, is that like how, I guess what I'm asking is like, how do we know when we're rotating enough?
My advice to everybody, and this is also personal preference, right? I would rotate my protein sources every 7 days. Every 7 days, I'd get it, right? So I figure out what those protein sources that are really bright, make you feel alive, and rotate them out.
Okay.
If you're going to do the whole, I'll eat the same thing every day.
Yeah. Or just rotate every other day or something like that where it's.
And, if you're not allergic to shellfish, I would really put shellfish into rotation.
Yeah.
I was, despite the way they look, oysters.
Oh, I love oysters,
right,
man.
Big fan. They're nature's multivitamins.
We got to go to Ironside down there. Happy hour there, $1 a piece.
That is the spot.
That's a steal right there, man.
That's my Friday ritual for.
Has it been?
I mean, yeah, 48 oysters, $48, man. Just suck.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Have a couple grams of protein each. Like, yeah.
I think it's oysters are the perfect historic balance of protein, carbs, and fat. So, yeah, high minerals are like great for you. So just
I think they're good for the
bigger.
vulgar. Well, let's talk about that. I mean, there's probably, there's what are some good, if somebody's not feeling as vigorous
That's vigorous, yeah.
and they want to feel more vigorous, what are some good ways to really stimulate the sex drive, that part of it?
Sure. So I mean, let's define what you say vigor just for a second. That's the question I'm talking about.
I would say two things. One, the drive to desire sex.
Okay, sure.
And two is like they're in high school.
Well, two is like they're in high school.
Yeah, like just
we
popping up.
We all want to be back into high school,
It's like
Your teacher don't call me up. I can't stand up here. Like we go through as guys. Obviously, zinc levels are important, but assuming it's not psychological, and it becomes
psychological is a big one.
Psychological for a lot of guys. There are guys that'll supplement with tadalafil once a week, and that can be really good for your heart and blood pressure.
Right.
And just getting that cycle back in the mode of like, oh, now I'm seeing it go back up. I'm seeing things work again.
Yeah,
that can really help you overcome that in the short term.
So that will help the psychological aspect.
It helps the psychological, it helps the physical aspect too, right? Increases blood flow to extremities.
Let's talk about the psychological aspect. Sure, some of the psychological parts that help men perform, at their best, or maybe if there's having self-doubt, to break through some of that.
I think one of the biggest things, the hardest things for guys to accept is in most things as men, we push through things, right? We're taught this is will it to happen, push back far. Yeah. The problem with that sex drive is you don't need to have sex when you're reproducing, when you're running from a tiger, when you're fighting something off. So rising up, and that the body comes from a parasympathetic state. So when you're relaxed, right?
So do some breath work.
I think breath work is a great way to do that and feel that is a big thing. And making sure your nervous system has time to recover. So again, if you're a high performing person or you're an entrepreneur, all you're doing all day is we're problem solvers. That's what we're doing.
We're in the back of
right. And if you own your own business, there's nobody but you to solve that problem, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So shutting that time off and getting your nervous system that time to recover is just so critical and so huge for that. And it's not always something you can will through. You could take, like I said, you can take some tadalafil. You could do some extracorporeal acoustic sound wave therapy, which is blasting. It's briefly I'll get into this. It's running this device that runs along the shaft of your penis, and it blasts away. Uses sound to blast away clogged arteries and endings.
Wow.
Helps you grow nerve endings. So if your person is maybe you've been a little too overzealous with your grip, you guys might just over time, and you created some that maybe a normal human body cannot replicate. That could really help regain some. But that happens to a lot of guys. It's a thing. I think, and again, just this is like cycling through things. One of the things
this is good. So what's that thing called that you get to
extracorporeal acoustic sound wave,
and it gets all the nerve endings firing back up there.
It does.
So it helps with the sensitivity.
It also sensitivity build nerve endings. But the guy
does it growth too?
It helps increase blood flow, growth,
which will
increase growth. Oh, girls, you can notice some size difference immediately.
Yeah,
is when you're overstressed. Guys know there's maybe some variance downstairs how things work to that, right?
Yeah.
And even there's some variance that if you're just taking like tadalafil, or maybe it's not quite as girthy as it normally is. Maybe it's not quite.
With tadalafil?
Again, it depends on your stress state, right? Because in tadalafil, you're just improving blood flow. It doesn't mean that I'm turned on here necessarily. You got to be a little bit turned on for it to work, but there's a difference between she's right there. I got to make this work right now.
And you're in the moment
and oh my God,
let's go.
Gosh, she's damn. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
there's a big difference. There's a big difference.
Yeah.
So again, this is one of those uncomfortable topics guys don't like to discuss, but
I think it's great.
Yeah. It's great. And it's something that guys need to really really recognize.
That's right.
A lot of those issues downstairs come from you train, if you have ability to, then you can get hard and you can't stay hard, or you've trained your body not to maintain an erection during sex. Like by masturbating too hard, by over gripping, right? From that little clench right there, which is and everything.
That's hilarious. Yeah,
It is funny, but there's a lot of guys who don't watch this but
they resonate with that.
right. They're like clench. Well, they think like they're thinking like, what's wrong with me? I tried this. Like I'm not reacting to a normal woman. Like what's going on?
Interesting.
Why do they think? Oh, I've watched too much porn. Well, that's probably true. You shouldn't be watching porn. Period.
Yeah, I mean, I did semen retention for 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually the most. It was like I like doing challenges. Like I didn't have a TV by your shaft.
Yeah.
I didn't. I did 5-MeO DMT, and I didn't. That was actually what started the semen retention.
Okay.
And then also with some different foods and stuff like that. Like there's this whole kind of ritual that you go through with it. To not everybody does, obviously, the follow through of it, but I did. I was like, I'm going to take this all the way, and so I did that for 6 months, and it was like I felt great. And the clarity and everything else that it brings, and I'm like you with like, not that I never watch porn, but very rarely ever. Like it's just not really in alignment, right? And I think when you stay away from some of those things, it just gives you more ability to be present.
Absolutely.
And in those moments, but there also is a thing where if you don't use it, and like especially if you're in a relationship, and then you're not being intimate and those type of things, that can put pressure on you as well. So, what would you say to somebody in that type of situation?
So the situation you're describing there is that they're using porn as a replacement for their partner's dying should not having a choice.
Let's go both. Yeah, I mean, I think that's interesting.
Yeah. So, as guys using the first thing I want to get away from is shame. The shame cycle, which is created, and porn is an addictive thing. Dr. Daniel Amen can show you. He's one of the psychotherapists that actually examines the organ that he's studying. Right.
Yeah.
So he can show you like what a brain on porn looks like. It actually looks a little bit similar. Some these are people that you fraud these into. Someone who's using cocaine too.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
That's right. You're flooding that brain with dopamine in a way that it was never
cheap dopamine.
And there is nothing more detrimental to, I would say, a human being in daily life than being assaulted with cheap dopamine. Staying on top, I'd say on top of the question, I think minimizing the amount of cheap dopamine you consume, whether it's Reels, TikTok, Instagram, high sugary food, porn, is going to make you not only feel better about yourself, of a long-term year, because you're going to have that drive, right? As men, we dopamine that drive to push us forward, to achieve new things, to grow, to achieve new ends. And dopamine is very much about the journey. It's not the destination. So those things make dopamine the destination are going to be very detrimental to you, right?
So porn is a cheap drug.
Correct.
That ruins your ability to be present and really enjoy life, just like, or worse than cocaine.
I mean, I'm not going to quote it quite to the same level as cocaine, because that's a next level detriment. But the changes in the brain are similar over a prolonged period of consumption, and that's any high dopamine substance, right? Over the long term, it doesn't require an effort to get through. So again, not wanting to what your question. I want to break on the topic, but like a good source of dopamine would be like cold plunge. Yeah, right.
Guy right there.
There you go. Outside. Right. And cold plunge is the same dopamine release as cocaine, but it's sustainable over 4 hours. But think about the difference we get there. Whereas like cocaine or porn, I'm just getting that quick release, or I'm snorting something to get quick release.
You don't hurt it.
You don't hurt it.
And then
you have to learn that thing.
Yeah.
You're free.
Yeah. And then it tricks the reward system.
Correct.
Where then doing good things are really doing good things.
Right. So Andrew Huberman defined addiction as a narrowing of the things that give you pleasure.
Yeah.
Over time. And I think that's the danger of overconsumption of any type of high dopamine substance.
That could be any one thing. That could be working out. Like you could end up becoming negatively addicting to working out. Yes. Your whole identity is tied to that. And if you're not doing that, then you're like not happy. And like that ends up could becoming so good things could actually be the same thing then, huh?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That was me at 18 or 19.
Yeah.
When I opened I was like, I'm set 4 hours a day in the gym.
Yeah.
I mean, huge and ripped, at that age, because you're convinced being big and stronger, but it solves everything. In the
Solves all the problems.
Yeah. Girls are gonna love me. No, it's a lot of guys that really like you. So you think like. I'm a kid there, so I'm thinking, this girl's gonna be like, man, your biceps. All I get is a bunch of dudes coming up to me and grab my chest and tapping me on the side. So.
Bro, when I'm in the best shape, bro, it's amazing. Like, I'll have so many guys that come up to me and compliment me, but it's like exactly what you're saying. It's more men recognize that.
Isn't it weird that as teenage guys, we have this mindset of like, oh, if I get big girls trying to love me, it's gonna be a thing, and it doesn't equate to it doesn't quite translate with women. I was thinking that's funny.
It's interesting, huh? Yeah, because then you see women and they're with like some skinny, kind of like different looking dude, and we're like, what is that about?
We'll go with different looking dude for sure. Yeah, being as big as I possibly can does not get me the most, which is funny because all of our brains as teenage boys tell us if I get as big and as strong as grips as I can, that's going to equate to female attention, which is what we all want.
Right. So what would you say is the thing that equates to female attention?
I think true stoic and masculine energy. And that's the ability to this is my opinion, be in the fire, face the fire, be calm, handle problems, and have trust in yourself, real trust in yourself to solve those issues. And I think I say true masculine because they're, wounded masculine can show up like, I'm big, I'm loud, right? I'm telling everybody, I got this. I'm doing this. Or that can in the beginning maybe get you the same attention getting from women. I mean, they will figure it out, just FYI. And they figure it out. But that like you're in control and you have it. But long term, you start to see that's more like an unhealed little boy inside you shouting for attention. Right? Just try and prove it to yourself. And if you're in that stage of life, that's totally okay. I think we all go through that is coming to like the end phase, right? As healing. But that is a thing. I think women would agree. There's probably nothing sexy in a guy that can calmly handle problems or handle situations or handle mood swings or shifts, without exploding or taking out their partner.
Because women, one of the big things they desire to feel safe.
Absolutely.
And creating that safety is really important.
Absolutely. And I would argue as a man, like being able to like being a safe place for the woman you're with, that feels fucking awesome.
And it doesn't feel good when you're not.
No, absolutely.
Right? Like that's part of our identity as masculine men is to be that person that people can lean on.
Sure, absolutely.
And create that safe space.
Yeah.
And so when you're not fully in alignment with that, that's a painful thing as a man.
Absolutely. No, you're right that it's painful because we all know it as guys. We're not right there. Even if you want to give it a voice, there's that deep side.
But even us as men, we're not perfect either.
No, we try very hard to be.
Yeah.
Sometimes
we may put a little bit too much pressure on ourselves.
Yeah. I think that's like the common denominator. I think in all of this, what we just talked about is it's how do you handle stress? How do you handle stress? How do you handle the unknown? How do you handle that? Because that's going to kill your sex drive. That's what's going to build your relationships, right? That's what's going to make you start to sabotage your relationship if you're in it, It's like letting that, this guy, especially, I'm speaking more the entrepreneur crowd out there, right? When I say this, because if you're a woman, dating an entrepreneur is not for the faint of heart.
That's not easy.
Not at all, especially when it's not easy. Not at all.
Ups and downs in every way.
I got to take that call when it comes in, even if it's the middle of dinner. I got to spend all this time building my business. You want there. But the investment does pay off, but it's not like, you work a 9 to 5, the paycheck comes in steady. I can turn my brain off. And
don't turn the brain off. It's a hard one.
It's all on me. Yeah.
I'll talk about a little bit, like I share my story of, it's the traumas that I've been into life has become my superpower.
Mm.
Those traumas also are the things that hold us back at times.
Totally.
And you touched a little bit about, the trauma, how it surfaces. And I love the hero's journey.
Totally.
So I love to dive in a little bit because all the greatest people that I've ever met in my life, they have some piece of this adversity that they go through as part of the hero's journey. So I'd love to hear from you. What are like a couple instances of just times in your life or in childhood that has really been, maybe was a hard part of life, but it ended up now becoming a superpower for you? And how did you translate that journey that happened that way?
Let me think of an easy one we can start with. If I definitely. So one of the pivotal moments for me was, and this is something I think you guys have played sports would probably relate to. As a freshman in high school, I would have done the basketball team, right? And so my coach, the guy named John St. New, you can look him up. Guy's an absolute stud. Was one of the last people cut from the championship Bulls team. Guy had calves that were like this big, right?
Yeah.
And, Division I think led all NCAA Division I, just a stud. So that's the guy who's the coach. The guy's have a program.
He knows.
He knows what it takes.
Yeah.
And so we get up. It's the first experience you have this there, and it feels epic to me as I talk about it. And if you're a guy watching this, hopefully you kind of feel that same energy too. You remember, get up at 4:30, right? Now I'm on the track, okay? And now we're doing conditioning. Now we're going for 2.5 hours before school, and it's a training camp. That's what he put on. What he knew was to put on a professional level training camp, and I do not believe he tailored it to teenagers. I think he
Yeah, like, this was a program. This is what we're doing.
Right.
We're going to win.
So, what I'm very proud of throughout the experience was 12 weeks of Ironman. Ironman was you to show up every day before it made it through. So, you miss you do things like where you miss times for like a mile. Well, now I go run a mile again. And or I miss times on the sprints we're doing, right? And they get wrapped up for 2.5 hours, right? I'm like, vomiting is not, it's what's happening all the time. You're, dying, run it again, Dude, no, I think one of the days, just to give people an idea of Aros, one of the days he punished the whole group by making us go up and down the bleacher stairs, which were massive, like I think 200 times up and down this one, right? So there was no way through it. But what I learned through all this and showing up every day was I could have whatever I wanted. I could get to wherever I wanted. Wasn't at that time, didn't have the endurance, didn't feel very athletic at all, right? Not very coordinated. That's how I felt to me, right? But if I'm willing to suffer, and I can out-suffer everybody else, if I can put in the work, if I can just show up day in and day out, no matter how hard it is, and get back up for one more rep, right? I can have whatever I want in life. And for me, and I actually really got a chance to talk about this on camera before. That guy saved my life in so many ways. Going through that by teaching that skill. And one of the things that I disliked about that was because he made it so hard on us kids, the school didn't like it. The school pushed back. You got to be easy on this kids, and they eventually he was only there. I unfortunately got to play under him for about a year, and then he was gone. He did fine. He became, I think, in a high-level athletic position at the University of Oregon, right?
Yeah.
Not like, and he's an NBA scout, but that resilience over time, though, just teaching a group of kids they could do whatever they want. But this is such a powerful thing. And, I think David Goggins talks about that doping inertia. From once you overcome that hard thing, right? The doping release, you just keep going. So, as a skill that I learned at a young age, I don't think anything has served me better than that, right? We talk about other kinds of trauma or hard things, but just knowing that whatever I faced, if I could out-suffer there, I could get through the other end. Yeah, is a powerful thing.
Powerful thing.
So, if I have one superpower, that's it. Yeah.
I resonate with that with you, bro. Like,
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. And I had a coach too. I was 8 years old. Coach Jeff Johnson. Still remember him, man. Like 7, 8, 9. I played for him for those 3 years, and we won the championships, all that. But it all started because we would do visualization.
Yeah.
Like it would be raining. I was up in Washington. He'd be like, I love the rain. Like have everybody say, I love the rain. Football. I love football. Everybody, I love football. Like he had us have like, if you're on first team, you had these little stickers that would be on your helmet, and it was just this like, he had a whole system, and it wasn't like a football system. It was like a whole life system of just taking so much attention to the detail and the love and the passion and like that, I was going through a really hard place in my life during that when I was a little kid because mom wasn't there, leaving me at home by myself. My dad basically kidnapped me, and then best thing he did was put me in sports, and like that was a foundation. But Coach Jeff Johnson, like man, like how you still remember your coach's name. It's amazing what an impact a coach can have on a kid's life.
I agree. I mean, those positions are so important for young males, or especially teenagers at great risk and often starving, especially ones that are starving for father figures, right? Someone to guide them, to show them the way. That's so important in keeping them on that path, because not criticizing single mothers, but if you're a man and you come from, you're a young boy, you come from a single mother home, not having that masculine, that father presence, statistically speaking, it puts you in like highest risk categories for substance abuse, for prison. I'm not saying you have to go there, but it knows you. It makes it a lot harder if there's not someone to tell you how to take those hits, right, and to keep going and to teach you what it means to be a man and how a man reacts to situations. So yeah, I agree. I think like high school coaches, college coaches, those are somebody like they're America's fathers, right?
Yeah. Even in the nice younger ages too, is so important.
Absolutely,
to building a foundation, discipline, self-respect, belief. Those are the things that.
We just said right there, one question is discipline. So one of the things I think gets put in the background with guys is, discipline equals goals. Discipline equals results and almost. And so it's some phrasing like that where it just stays in the background, right? It's one of those sports phrases where you almost don't even know why you're saying it, right? You're just repeating and diving that. But discipline in life is what will give you an easier life. Having no discipline and getting back to all the things we talked about. Like not discipline with your diet, not discipline with like your, porn, discipline with your desire, right? Just lust will untangle you as a man just easily there. Being masculine is not being lustful all the time, right? Not having discipline in your life will give you a very hard life. And you can see that reflected into those who struggle with addiction in with a variety of things, right?
Part of discipline is understanding what to be disciplined about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like sometimes we have no idea.
True.
That's part of the father figure is giving them some values or religion, Christianity, whatever it may be. Like understanding your core values, why that matters, and then being disciplined in your approach to that in your life.
Absolutely. So, I mean, you touched something with like religion and fathers, and that's structure, right? And I think what I'm big on is designing the structure for my life of who I want to be. And that, comes into like, and what the results I want. And that comes in with, biohacking, comes in with diet, like controlling those inputs into my body to give me a better output, right? Controlling what I eat, controlling what I consume, controlling the people I spend time being with in my life. Are those people going to be positive? Are they going to maybe, take me out one night and maybe it's too many drinks, maybe it's too many, whatever it is, right? How does that impact me for days? Because those small wins, that structure you set up there daily, removing those variables are going to make you feel too anxious to make a good decision, all right? Make you lose sleep to make good decisions. Not take care of your, all things that do to protect your mental health are going to negatively impact you in other places. But again, we control it. I'm using the example. If I'm getting good sunlight, I'm getting cold plunge, I'm working out, I'm controlling the food I eat, right? Because food will make you react badly too. Food will nutrition,
foundational keys, man. Like, people don't even realize they're spending time in the gym, but they're eating crap and garbage, or maybe halfway good, halfway bad. It's like, man, if you're going to spend the time and take the intention, it's still right. That's right. Because the amount of effort to do it that extra little bit, maybe this much, but the impact that it creates is this much.
Absolutely.
Right. And so it's like, you see it all the time with people. So you talk about really, like you said, you've applied your operator's mindset to biology, treating it as a system. Walk me through that. How do you audit your own body the way that you audit a business?
Okay, let me see if I can translate this. Let's start with examine the fundamentals. So like a human body, right? Touched on a molecule earlier that is like critical for your success as a man, whatever you're doing, right? It's dopamine, right? Cheap dopamine is bad, earned dopamine is good. One of the easiest ways to get, you won't realize this, to get early dopamine to set yourself for the day is to get sunlight between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. So I'm a person, I'm getting up, I get up, and again, I'm not of the moniker that you have to be up at 3:30 a.m., 4:30 a.m., 5:30 a.m. to be successful. That's not a way. And there's some people that works great for. That's awesome, good for them. But getting that dopamine.
Yeah, I'm up at 3:30.
Yeah, I know you are.
I've been trying to get you on that a little bit. Like, hey, let's go 5:30, 4:30. Chris in the morning, man, he's like a zombie walking. Oh. I'm like, bro, are you okay?
Listen, my circadian rhythm is I'm a bear. I'm close to the night there. That's okay. You're what they call a lion. I think a lion. I thought you like that too. Yeah,
let's go.
The 5:30 in there, and not to say that you can't do that, but so I'm minding a business. As I get up, morning sunlight, I'm having a glass of water, get a little some salt in there, replenish the pores I just ate, and here's the key marker when you're in the sun, and feel free to test this out. There's great science behind it. This is free. Okay,
drop it free.
Well, it's free to do.
Free to do, and he's dropping free knowledge, and it's free to do. Let's go. What's free that can change somebody's life?
Getting up, so start with this routine. I'm getting up, I'm drinking 12 ounces of water. I'm a little sea salt in there to replenish the adrenals for waking me up. Up. I'm getting out in the sun, and I'm not staring at the sun. I'm staring at the sky, which is very different, right? And that's resetting. That's sending your building dopamine up for the rest of the day.
So it kind of gets your storage of dopamine ready to go.
Start building dopamine up.
You're building it, yeah. Well, that's my favorite thing to do. I walk out there to the pool, and I stand up, and I don't care who's around, but I go like this.
You do.
Spread my arms out as far as I can. I lift my eyes, and I'll either be like looking out, like you said, in the sky, but usually I'll close my eyes and be directed right at the sun, so I can feel the sun. Like it feels like it's like coming into this area here.
So that crown chakra thing, I see you going for that. Or no, it's a crown chakra and third eye. It's like you touch you do that. Yeah,
exactly. And I just like, and I do that. Even if I walking by, I'll do it for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
But just that 20 seconds will make a difference or shift. If I can do it longer, that's great. What do you recommend as far as how much time to sit there and do that?
So, I mean, if 15 minutes is the same, it's really good there. And over time, you will notice the difference. What you're describing is most people, even looking in the sky, they're going to be like, their eyes are going to close. They can't handle it because their retinas used to be under an alien sun.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And that's what the artificial lights are. They're an alien sun. You're staring at the screen, right?
Yeah.
What is it, like 6,000 HB or something like the eye? The light comes off. There is not more blue used in nature in July at noon.
Right.
And that negatively impacts you. That causes myopia, nearsightedness. It's a lot of visual changes, and it lowers your dopamine threshold. The forward people who stare at their screens a lot will actually get tired when they go outside because it's such a deep suppression of melatonin. Again, I got a lot of knowledge of this. I'm going to try and stay on topic, but anything that depletes melatonin is going to make you die faster. Because the more melatonin you produce at night, the better you fall asleep. The more cheaply you sleep, go through your cycles. You want 25% REM, 20% deep, right? 6 to 8 hours, depending on who you are. Or that's going to slow your recovery, which means all those cuts you built today are going to build up over time. So you're going to fall off faster. But that starts right in the morning, right in that morning sunlight. So you're getting that 15 minutes in. Now, if you're depends who you want to be. I'm a big believer about eating a high protein meal in the morning and taking my fasting at the other end there at 3 o'clock. But if you're, let's say you're a bulletproof coffee guy, you're a person who's saying ketones, all that electrolytes, there's lots of different ways to do your cold plunge. And then you move on to that and you get yourself set up and ready to go. I also recommend, you and I are both big on breath work, right? My breath work, right? The keys to the body, right?
It's our breath, man.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's incredible.
It's like the best drug. If you haven't tried breathwork as a drug, I highly recommend this brand. It's free breathwork.
Yeah, it gets you high, that is for sure.
It gets you high, man.
But even fascinating, you can stop panic attacks with breathwork, right?
Yep.
You can shut down the adrenaline response.
So
by the way you breathe. And when you experience, you're like, holy crap. Most of this stuff, when I heard that, I'm like, the first word to sound like I'm like, that's bullshit. That doesn't make any sense. But it was the guy who recommended it was a guy named it's Dr. Jack Cruz. You can look him up. He's a little bit of a controversial guy. He's a neurosurgeon that looks at physics take on biology.
Oh, I love it.
which is a really cool. It's in perspective, right?
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
So I'm like, okay, I'll try this. And I felt like that first day being out, I was like, oh, I feel great. I feel like I feel like I feel a little high, a little motivated, and all that. So that really built the pattern of me going back and doing it again. Same thing with breath work, And that's another reason why it's important not to over tap your dopamine response. Cheap dopamine will lower your threshold for dopamine, so you don't know what's going to work for you. Well, it's not tell because
cheap dopamine gives you cheap results.
cheap dopamine gives you cheap results. Yeah,
You want a cheap life?
right. Yeah.
You want a life of substance and significance.
But the other factor I want to get into is there's someone's watching that says, well, yeah, I watch porn a few times a week there. I scroll through Instagram, nothing impacts me. That's all fine and well and good. It's going to have varying different degrees of effect on a different person. And most importantly, I want to get into is that you don't, whatever you're doing, you make the change without shaming yourself.
I love that. Making the change because it's in alignment with what you desire your life to be, not making the change because you're ashamed of who you are and your identity and all of that. It's kind of like that push-pull motivation.
Sure.
Like, it's much better to be pulled towards a direction than push. Sometimes at the same time, sometimes we have to hit that breaking point.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we have to feel so much shame that it's more painful to go back anymore
Yeah.
than it is to fucking say, you know what? Fuck this. I'm putting it all down and I'm going. I'm going forward.
So, and I agree with you. If you're a person that you respond to that and you can move forward beyond, that's great. I think what I'm concerned, what I'm saying is there's those people that are addiction prone that get stuck in the cycle because shame is nothing which would be more addictive than an addiction cycle more than shame.
Yeah.
Over time,
So I can't break free of that.
Can't break free of that. The only time I'm getting relief is when I use a substance. So over time there, and that is a very.
So if somebody's in that shame cycle right now, what do they do?
So I have a couple recommendations. This is just if you're not a person that methylates folate, which about half the population does not. Get on some good high dose methylfolate. And that's a big thing. And methylfolate, it helps you reproduce serotonin and helping neurotransmitters. But what it does is it helps you break down catecholamines, which are part of what cause anxiety. So it helps you reboot the brain. So even from being in a state like people with the post-addiction crash cycle, they're anxious and everything feels 10 times harder. Yeah, the situation becomes worse. Methylfolate will really help reboot the brain. So NAD is a little bit more expensive, but it really helps get you back to a lower place where you can make calm, centered, good decisions. That's the first thing I think I like to know. All the things we're mentioning right in this podcast, taking out morning sunlight, breath, all those things can help you get back in that spot. But really finding someone to talk to that understands and if you have friends that can be supportive and understand that as a community, that's a great thing. Have that. For a lot of people, they're not going to have that, and moreover, their addiction cycle is done in secret.
Yeah,
which increases that
because they have shame.
Because they have shame, right? So finding somebody, whether it's a therapist or if you're a guy, I think coaching personally works better in men than talk therapy. I think, again, my personal opinion, I think talk therapy probably works better in women because guys, yes, they need to get it out a little bit, but give them a quick action. How do I fix this, right?
That's what men like to do.
Right.
Our program.
Absolutely. Because absolutely, one of the worst things you can do is is not hold a person accountable or validate them on that same level. Right. So I think on that level, coaching provides accountability, provides results, also provides you're somebody to understand where you're going with it.
So having a brotherhood of people that are on a similar mission or maybe moving ahead of where you desire to go, they can help show you the way and guide you, support you, and everybody lift one another up.
It's really
so important.
I think it's really interesting the things that we're talking about, they all cycle back to living a good, full, healthy life, right? I think you need community, like you said, brotherhood, and for good nutrition, diet, staying away from cheap dopamine, having habits that build cheap dopamine. But I think conversations floor jump around a little bit. I want to get back to for a second the things you talked about, which is the basics people can structure their lives around. They can go.
I was just going to ask you that if someone has zero experience with biohacking, but they want to start, what are 3 things that will give them 80% of the results?
Okay. 80% of the things I would do, first of all, hydration is something that hydration and covering for nutrient deficiencies is something that everybody has. Most people have magnesium, they have vitamin D, they have K2, they have iodine, which they produce thyroid hormone, right? Hey, those are great ones. Vitamin C. They're not getting out in the sun, walking around enough. You're designed to be outside. Okay? Movement is the way you detox is through movement. Your lymphatic system flows through moving around. So these are going to be really basic and really simple, right? Hydration, you have electrolytes, nutrition, exercise, peace, having community, having people to talk to, right? Because loneliness is the silent killer of it all.
Silent killer. I mean, I think that's what killed my dad.
Yeah.
Lived by himself. He died alone at 60, and he didn't take care of himself very well. But if he had somebody that was there with him and cared for him, or just, I think it would have been a much different thing.
So if you don't mind, then just building on your dad, because that's like the loneliness epidemic, I think, has hit men so hard. There are so good. I don't know the statistics, but it's men over a certain age, post 34, can only don't even have one friend.
Yeah,
a certain percentage of them. It's crazy.
It's growing.
Yeah,
the stats growing actually.
The separation, and men need each other. Go through feeling each other. Men need each other. Men need that brotherhood to go through. So just you talk about I think as guys we get up in this cycle, and tell me if this resonates to you, is we're not human beings, we're human doings, right? So my self-worth is tied to
what I do,
what I accomplish, what I provide, who I'm helping, right, all that. And that it's a wonderful thing to want to help people, but the whole adage of not filling your own cup up first, and then just saying it doesn't guys, we're disposable. It doesn't matter what happens to me, right? Doesn't that feel like an epic tragedy to say this guy? Doesn't matter what happens to me. I'll sacrifice myself to the end, But it's true. It's
I was just having this conversation with Yessie because, it's expectations, right?
Sure.
I know that she desires for me to show up as her.
Sure.
Right. And sometimes I'm there's only room for one person's desires to happen.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, I'm giving this.
Yeah.
But she doesn't want me just to give this all the time.
No.
Right. But I think I'm doing the right thing.
Sure.
But in reality, what I'm doing is I'm just hurting myself, which that's unattractive at the end of the day.
Isn't that ironic, though, to your point there? Because I think that's a really common mistake guys make in most relationships. I'm guilty of that as well, right?
Man.
That's why. But I don't need this. I'll sacrifice myself. And that erodes the relationship.
Yeah.
That can erode relationship.
It can.
Long term, right?
Yeah.
It's not you're showing up less and more depleted.
You're showing up more depleted. And even if you don't want to, you start to have a sense of resentment.
Totally.
Because, but the side of they actually they don't desire that from you that way. Right? The more we can show up as our own unit, strong and fulfilled and filled up, that just overflows to everything else. The problem is we like to take our cup and we just pour it out everywhere. And then we're like, oh, well, my cup's empty, and then who is me sometimes.
But then you brag about that.
Exactly, like a badge of honor.
Stoic warrior.
I'm the man. I do all this. But reality is it has a price.
There is no one thing. I mean, I think we just touched on this, such a key thing for guys, relevant, self-sacrifice. As you all will figure out already, is not attractive to women. It's not having the effect you think it's having.
No, it's not.
It's not.
I need self-sabotage.
100%. Right? Yeah. You put it through, but that's something that guys need to hear. That not only is it a good thing. I think it's so funny. If you told guys that they made it standard that women love it when you take care of yourselves. Women love it. If you phrase it like that, there are so many guys that would immediately go to they'd show up, they'd be self-groomed, they'd take better care of themselves, right? It's almost like there are certain groups of men that need female approval to do something or get something done there. And it's not everybody. I'm just saying that as a
That is a subset.
There's a subset, right? End up harming themselves. You're putting themselves in relationships and situations that repeat the same pattern, which is, he said, the epic sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
The man of the mouth, throwing himself in front of the bullet, right?
That's all we all would be fantasized about that. If I die, I would happily die in that hero's death.
Oh, of course.
You know what I mean? I used to think about that all the time. If there was somebody that was get a bomb somewhere or shoots, I'd like go tackle him and I'd be the one to like, it's just funny how or like if I had to push, yes, out of the way of a car and, I would happily do that. Like that's just, it feels like part of like as a man, and maybe not all men, but for somebody.
I think most men would resonate with that.
I think so.
I mean, one of the like, there's a reason why anime cartoons amongst guys of a certain age were so popular, right? That is the whole moniker.
Yeah.
I level up. I stand in the store. Kamehameha, right?
Yeah. Bro, it's awesome.
But I wonder if women would say the same thing. I mean, obviously that's the expectation. If you're a guy, you don't dive in front of the boulder. But I don't think women spend around all day wondering, thinking, well, if there's a terrorist attack and this happens, my boyfriend should dive in front of this bullet for me, and that'll be so evident.
I think they do. You think they do? I think part of like
he should really
romanticize about that for sure. Yeah,
I love it.
Women want to feel like safe, taken care of, and like even though like we had men, we don't have to go around beating people up. They want to know that their man can protect them.
No.
In situations. And I think that gives them reassurance. And then they can, yes, he likes to be like, how there's a TikTok.
No thoughts in my head.
She wants to feel safe.
That's how you need to operate, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
I think, like, I want to touch something you said real quick there, and that's like the guy who wants to beat everybody up.
Yeah.
I always think that's an interesting, like, you talk about, like, earlier was a teenage boy thing, like, you just pick and all that possibly can. All my problems will be solved.
Right.
How girls that make well that.
Yeah.
What about the guy that has like the guy who wants to be in that place? He has like the bar fight. He has the vision of if I get in this bar fight right now, defend my girl's honor. And I had it's the swing where the guy swings at them. I catch the fist.
Yeah.
Right. Knock him out and plus across the room. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Out there. And then the funny is, as a guy, like the emotional part of your brain says, what happens next? And he goes, it's parade. Yeah. Right? Raising your hand.
Yeah, exactly.
I hear I'm walking. And then there's reality of what actually happens. Everybody looks at you, go like, yeah, this guy, your girl kind of looks around, looks at you, and you're like, especially if it was overly violent. And then, you're walking around this snarling and stomping there, and the police are going to get arrested.
Yeah, that's not no win for nobody.
It's not a win for everybody, but that's a common male like fantasy, and it's like the guys have there, and it doesn't end the way you think it's going to end.
Yeah, I think it's a quote. It's better to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in war.
Absolutely.
And so I think just your presence, my presence, just being there stopped so much that could have happened.
Yeah.
Right. I had someone tell me this a long time ago that was in like high level intelligence or and his son was on my coach football.
Okay.
His son was on the football team. He's like, Aaron, I got to tell you something. I said, you may not understand this, but you just having the presence you have going into different places, you don't even know the things that you stop from happening.
I believe
because it's that energy that you carry yourself within and that type of stuff. And that's you know what I mean? But it's like, I think just not when you are able to take that action, you never end up not having to take that action.
I think, but if you're a guy, you're watching this and you resonate, I think what you just like touch on something really great. Guys want that opportunity to prove themselves, that hunger to show something. But you think about winning, doing the work is so quiet, right? Showing up, it's masculine is stoic. It's not loud. It's not braggadocious. It's there.
Yeah.
How many things? And if you're a guy, you're this guy. You know who you are. How many things do you like stop just by walking in? Not by being erratic and stomping your feet, but by being calm, by being a stable presence, by making people safe enough to be themselves.
Yeah.
Or by walking. It's a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing.
Love that, bro. Yeah. All right. So we tapped on some pretty amazing things. I'm really, really grateful for our conversation. So as we go to on the last few questions that I have, anything could be overcome. Your one-line message on the intake was anything could be overcome. What's the thing that you had to overcome that most people don't know about?
Just one thing?
Just one. I know you're like this. So we're probably going to do another podcast together where you dive into your hero's journey because that is such a powerful one.
So that most people probably wouldn't expect I had to overcome was probably high anxiety. I think is a thing. that I've had. I had to do a lot. I had to do a long work on myself to overcome high anxiety and feeling safe. And then again, comes back to the things we talked about the podcast and being in that calm, stable, safe point of place. I had definitely suffered the major depressive disorder in high school, but high anxiety for, which I didn't even know what it was. I had the way it's actually kind of funny way I found out. So at this point in my life, I think I'm 20. I'm 28. This is when I figured it out, right? And I'm dating a woman that's much older than me, like 10 years old, beautiful aesthetics doctor, right? And all the relationship complications that come with dating somebody who's a 10-year age gap when the woman's older. Okay, so just a lot of things that a 38-year-old man knows what to do, the 28-year-old man does not at all know what to do.
Yeah, that's real. Yeah.
So point being, there's a lot of stress. I'm working on building 3 businesses. I have the cryo studio, all this plan. And my girlfriend at the time, she's like, Chris, you have anxiety. And I'm like, I'm in that more of that I'm in more of that Buddha mask at the time. I'm like, I don't think anxiety. Like, fuck you talking about? Get out of here. Yeah. Anxiety, walk around. Like, that doesn't make any sense. No, fuck. She's like, no, you have anxiety. You need to look at that. And I still didn't believe her, so I brushed it off for a few months. And then I had this experience with mushrooms. A lot of people have their a bit of biohacking. I'm looking at things that are good for the brain.
I'm a big fan of psilocybin. I get. You were talking about something else that helps reset your mind and your energy. For me, psilocybin is a big.
Psilocybin is one of those things for me too. I think I'm a huge believer in it. I think it is. It's medicine. It does give you a hangover. You learn something about yourself, and it's a deeply powerful tool for growth and self-improvement.
I just did an hour breathwork session with psilocybin.
Yeah.
And it was one of the most, it was just an incredible experience. Every time it's an incredible experience.
I agree. Psychedelics are great because it's different every time because they don't give you what you want.
They give you what you need.
They give you what you need. And if there's something you don't want to look at, these are people that have bad experience, in my opinion. Like, there's something you don't want to look at that you haven't talked about. We're going to look at it when you take psilocybin. It's not going to let you go if you buy it. But so I did my first mushroom journey, and then place we lived at had a lot of plants and flowers, and I've never been this guy. It's the sick of the color. So I'm walking around, and I'm like this. Now the next day, I'm like, wow, look at all the trees, look at all the leaves, look at all the flowers. I'm like, I feel so calm. I'm like, normal people feel like on a regular basis. I was like, oh, I have anxiety. I gotta figure this out. I gotta pay attention to it. But and again, I that's probably something that people wouldn't expect me to have, but that was a big blind spot for me, right? Because of how I viewed what it meant to be a man, and how I viewed my own journey there. It was a point of pride that I'd experienced that. I was experiencing anxiety the whole time I was doing things. Probably in some cases, panic attack level anxiety. I just wasn't acknowledging it. My body was taking the toll. So, looking into I'm going to touch on 2 things briefly. If you're a person that does suffer from anxiety, especially if you're a person that gets close to panic attacks, magnesium, having adequate magnesium is huge for keeping that low. L-theanine is a great thing. You can stack add for that. And then this is going to be one that a lot of people aren't as familiar with, and it's something called, a good friend of ours that pointed out to me, it's Dr. John Christensen years ago. It's lithium orotate as a mineral. So
I got a low dose of lithium.
Well, look, it's not lithium like the medication, but it is in a spot, but low dose of that will really can help keep you present and calmer. And if you're I'm not a physician. Let me say this really quick there. I'm going to show you something that works for me, and I've seen work for other people when I say this. Lithium orotate literally helped pull me out like a panic attack, where it was happening, and you're doing a breathing it was intense. It was going there, and it was some small dose. It was 28 milligrams. And I remember I'm like, I don't want my girlfriend at the time to see what's happening, because I'm a guy. So I've closed the door of the bedroom, and I'm sweating. I'm sweating. I'm going through this quietly, and I know what's happening, and what's happening. I take this, and it was a weird thing. It was let's say 10 minutes go by, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm fine now. What's happening? So that tapped in me what a powerful tool that can be. Those it didn't take much to impact it, but just having that in your back pocket is a really powerful thing to add in.
Yeah, I just want to say that everything that you've been through in life has happened for you, not to you, because it's created such a beautiful specimen of a human being, and the wealth of knowledge that you have is so unique, bro. Like I don't know if you give yourself enough credit for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You spend, I know you spend an ordinary amount of time diving in, researching this stuff, and the level of just reference that you have at any given time, whenever I talk to you about any of it, is just something I admire. And I just think it's really important for you to acknowledge that because you have an incredible presence, the way that you carry yourself, the way you show up for people, and just the way that, like, how you're so intelligent. Like, you have so much, there's so much uniqueness to you. It's all packaged in this one incredible human being. And I just want to make sure that every time you know that because, like, you just, bro, like, I'm so impressed by today. And I had high expectations because I had high expectations of you. But, bro, you everything you say is easy. You make complicated things easy for people to understand. And it's not stuff that you read out of a lot of it you read out of a book, but it's not stuff you read out of a book and then didn't utilize it in your own life. Like you're actively applying this stuff into your own life. So you live what you're speaking. And so to that, I just commend you on that. As we go through this next section, we're going to go through rapid fire.
Oh, rapid fire.
Rapid fire. I'm going to ask you some questions and then we're going to go to our closing.
Okay.
So you ready for this?
Let's do it.
Let's go. First thing you do when you wake up.
First thing I do when I wake up, I drink 12 ounces of water with sea salt and I get AM sunlight into my eyes as quickly as I possibly can.
Let's go. Supplement you can't live without.
Vitamin D, magnesium, K2. I couldn't live without that. I mean, I go through a lot of things that go through, but I mean, if I can't, it's the question I can't live without. That's core, yeah.
Biggest myth about biohacking.
I think one of the biggest myths about biohacking is you can biohack your way out of stress without doing the extra work. Biohacking encompasses all practices, all things. So it's not just I take a supplement. So the biohacking is I take the kitchen sink and I apply it, and I take a kitchen sink and I throw it at myself and I see what works. What I mean by that is, and I'm not the first person to say this. I think it was Dave Ashley said it years ago. If I have 12 things that are wrong with you and you correct 2, well, you still have 10 things that are wrong with you. You're probably not going to feel better. So I think the important thing with biohacking and self-optimization is you look at all the things you can do, apply them all at once right away, which is not something a lot of people want to hear. Here. And then over time, you're better off reducing things or scaling them back that way. And that's the best way to handle it. Otherwise, you're going to cycle through all things. You're going to think, oh, this wasn't my problem. That wasn't my problem. So it's very rarely is it going to be in a person. A one thing fixes that.
Right. It may be multi-tiered that all impact that. So you not know what's what. What's the best investment you've ever made, not financially?
Coaching is the best investment I've ever made, not financially. My coach Victor Pirantoni has helped me think about coaching, and you know your coach of this is rather than me getting trapped inside my own head. I call Victor. We walk through whatever I'm going through, and he pulls it apart. A great coach will ask you the right questions to help you come to your own personal answer. And I've had that every time with Victor. I've had that.
So coaching is about being a mirror.
Right. Absolutely.
How do you define dangerous in the best sense?
How do I define dangerous in the best sense? What do you mean by that?
Just like a philosophy. Like what would be what's a dangerous way to live life? What we were talking about, cheap dopamine.
I think for this biohacking, I think cheap dopamine is one of the most dangerous things you can up to as a man because it's insidious. Because it's not like a stab in the chest right away. I have damage I can take care of. It's a slow eroding. It happens over time. I feel a little bit not quite as good, but I'm still okay. Not quite as good, it's okay. And before you know it, you're in a hole. And you don't even realize you got there. So it sneaks you into that hole.
I agree. One habit that changed everything.
One habit for me that changed everything was originally was bulletproof coffee and intermittent fasting when that first came out.
I did that too.
Because my brain, like he didn't lie. I mean, having ketones in your brain when you're all of a sudden like, oh, I am smart.
Yeah.
That was a big thing for me. But on top of that was Dr. Jack Cruz's deep cold thermogenesis protocol, cold plunge.
Actually, you will. What does winning look like when you're 80?
Winning looks like when I'm 80. Winning for me when I'm 80 will look like I'm surrounded by true, like by my family and true friends, and everyone's definition of friendship is very different. So really, take that to heart. What you mean by that? I made great friends here. Made Britton Davis, yourself, people that share my same mindset, or on the same on the same journey and value loyalty and showing up for your friends and advice, and people that will and I'll put my friend Raj's category because he's a guy like this. Always true friends will always tell you when you're fucking up. Mm-hmm. All the three guys I mentioned, if I'm doing something wrong, first thing you're going to do is tell me you're fucking up. You're this wrong there. And it doesn't have to be in a nice way. And usually when I don't, I believe even more when it's not in a nice way, right? And that's one of the kindest things you can do, because for someone else that might think it's kinder to to gas me up. Well, now I don't know what I'm doing is wrong, so I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep embarrassing myself. I'm going to keep going on the wrong path, doing all that.
Yeah, so what you just said is so powerful there, because sometimes we just don't know.
Yeah.
If we don't know, having somebody help us that we respect realign us is so important.
Yeah.
Because that's life sometimes. Yeah. So many different things going on, it becomes blurry. We helping clear that out. Sometimes from the outside is the only place that you can see it.
Yeah.
It really has to come from somebody that you trust and respect. Anything can be overcome, true or motivational. BS. True or motivational BS.
I believe, and let me tell you what I said when I believe anything will overcome, because someone's going to come there and say, I have, and I'm not a cancer. I have stage, whatever, I can't get past that. Here's the reality of the situation, and I'm not patient. If anything in your life, there is a way to get past it. There's a way to get through it. There's a way to get it done. Even if we don't know it yet, it exists. I mean, I'm a big believer. There's probably a way to time travel, right? We just don't know how to do it. So in that context, that's what I mean when I say that. I found very much with, because a lot of the health stuff that I'm preaching on now, I wasn't aware of when I started my own health journey. I didn't know. I knew there was something wrong with me for sure, but I didn't know what it was. So I'm trying, but through persistence and through reading, I was able to figure out a lot of things about myself. And I think that's very true in most everything in life. If you're willing to put in the work, the time and energy, you can overcome anything, So true.
Last question.
Yeah.
What does a level 5 life mean to you?
A level 5 life means to me that I've done all the work on myself. I'm secure in myself. I provide value to my friends and family on the path. I'm secure mentally, emotionally, financially, physically. Myself there. Actually, let's keep it more simple. I am the most highest and best, most optimized version of myself and in service to others. I think that's. I like that one. Let's keep with that.
I like that one. That was
otherwise, my brain is an engineer. I'm gonna start playing out. We're here all day.
Well, I'm so grateful for this time that we spent together, bro. I loved it, man. I'm just filled with gratitude. Let's wait for me to explain it. Thank you for being on. If people want to find out more about you, learn more about what you got going on, how do they find you?
So they can find me. You can find me username Engineering Superman 22 on Instagram. So you get in touch with me. It's for the long term. I think I'll be building out my Dream Wellness Center starting later in the year. I think all the opportunities there, so it'll be easier to find me there. Spoiler, it is going to be called Asgard. So keep in mind that, yeah.
I love that. One last little piece of wisdom that you got for everybody before we go.
I'm going to be really generic here. I'll be real basic with it.
All right.
Anything is possible, with time and belief in yourself. Jump on. If you're willing to take the hits, and to the sacrifice, and I'll use the word suffer, which would fall into here, swallow pain, you can get to where you want to be. If you believe that, you will get there.
We heard it from my man, Chris Sands. Anything is possible if you believe in yourself, you take the time to do it, and you have resolve and conviction through the tough times. So grateful. Thank you all. Hope you got as much value from this as I did. Thank you for believing in us and showing up. We don't take that for granted. Every time we'll bring the heat for you. Please like, share, comment on this episode, and give Chris some love for everything that he shared today. Everybody have a great day. Until the next episode, we'll see you soon. Let's go.
If this episode spoke to your soul,
Share it with someone you love and tag us at the Gynergy Effect. We'd love to connect.
and remember, your energy is your power. Use it with intention.